And a happy Monday evening to all of you. I'm Victoria Weather Meteorologist Ryan Henning, recording obviously from Minnesota, if you can't tell from my Twins shirt and my Minnesota Gophers hat. But we're recording from Minnesota, but we're actually forecasting for Georgia because apparently that's the only state we do these video forecasts for. Last video forecast for Athens, and now we're going to be in the southwestern corner of the state in Albany, Georgia. It is actually just to the northeast of Tallahassee, Florida, so that gives you an idea where it is. That's where we're going to be forecasting for this evening. Let's turn it towards the monitor so you don't have to look at me and you can look at some weather information. All right, there we go. So these are the current observations. The green circles, I mean, obviously the green background is the map, but these green circles, that's Albany right there, or Albany. I'm not actually sure how they pronounce it in Georgia. The green circles mean VFR conditions for flight concerns, and VFR is what you want. It's clear skies, temperatures 82 degrees in Albany. Albany, again, not sure. The thing that would really stand out to me as a meteorologist is that dew point, which is in blue there. That's at 74 degrees, and that's very humid. And that's kind of been the case across the southeast the last few days, where there are heat advisories in effect for parts of Alabama and Georgia. And once you get it to be that hot and that sticky, that you get a heat advisory in that part of the world, that's really saying something. But there is a little bit of relief on the way, and we will be able to see that on the radar. This is the most recent radar imagery. It's a composite. Don't mind all this stuff. This is just it's ground clutter. It's because of attenuation, nightfall, and all that humidity certainly leads to even more false echoes. What we're really paying attention to is this line of showers and thunderstorms. These are mostly severe in the Birmingham area towards the Columbus, Mississippi area. This is, again, where Albany is. And it's associated with a weak front. There's not a lot of air mass change behind it, but looking at the surface analysis and the surface forecast, there's definitely a boundary. It's probably more back with this thing closer to Chattanooga and up through the western part of North Carolina there. But the linear nature in it is a good sign that there actually is a legitimate boundary there. And there's so much rain because, again, it is so hot and humid that once the cap breaks down there, all hell's going to break loose. So that's the thing to keep an eye on right now, that good organization. And the most organized that the models, any model had tonight's activity, the model that was performing the best, in my opinion, was the HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. So this is a forecast radar reflectivity plot. And it does have our boundary from the western part of North Carolina to north central Alabama. It's not as strong in Alabama, but it does have that secondary feature on northeastern Georgia. And I think it looks pretty good for my estimations anyway. The GFS and the NAM, the other two, the more long-range models, are really scattered with the showers and thunderstorms. Don't have this nice organized system. So what we're looking at then is what's going to happen for the rest of the evening. This only goes through about 3 or 4 a.m. And we can see there is a complex or a portion of this line that does look like it's going to hold together and reach the Albany area if the HRRR is to be believed. And frankly, especially since what's actually ongoing is ultimately a little bit stronger than what the model output is suggesting, I am inclined to believe that there will be some shower activity from this line in Albany overnight tonight to tomorrow morning. And if that happens, then maybe there's going to be some clouds tomorrow, and that would help keep temperatures down a degree or two by the early afternoon. But what we really want to look at then is what the longer range models go, because this is a 2-day forecast, and that means we need the forecast past sunrise tomorrow. So we can turn to the GFS and the NAM. like I said, they're not doing great in the short term, but we can agree with their analysis that there is a weak boundary in the area, especially here with the NAM. You can really tell where they're having it flare up. There's a little bit more post-frontal activity than what we're actually seeing, and even the GFS looks halfway decent. But you can see whatever is left there, and there is certainly a thermal trough along the coast, and that's helping to feed this thunderstorm activity. And it looks like it's going to persist along the coast, and there we can see at about 39 hours, or and that's going to be, what day is it today? Monday, Wednesday morning. It's really going to start to organize and shift to the south. The good news with this is that it would very likely bring in much drier air. We've still got the red isotherms, or those are isohypses. They are still very warm, so it's not going to get cold by any stretch of the imagination, but the humidity should cut a little bit through most of Georgia for the day on Wednesday. That's Wednesday, right? Yeah, that's Wednesday. Sorry about that. The NAM is a little bit slower, but further out the NAM tends to lose a little bit of credibility. So I would say we'll go with the GFS. There's not a lot in the upper levels because, again, the temperature profile through the atmosphere isn't that sharp in terms of a gradient at all levels. But we can see a little bit of reflectivity with this boundary at 700 millibars. And I'm just showing you this because I loaded it and I wanted to talk about it. But you can see this is just a reflection of the moisture, and it's going to be following, and its relative humidity is actually what it is, and it's going to be following along the boundary in the low. And you can see there's certainly some lower and mid-level moisture for this front to work with, and it's going to shift through, and that's really going to be the ticket for getting a little bit more comfortable conditions into Albany. But tomorrow, showers, thunderstorms. Even tonight, overnight, there's going to be some isolated showers. And then, yeah, through most of the day tomorrow and probably into the wee hours of Wednesday morning, there's going to be more thunderstorms. But through mid-morning, from mid-morning on, essentially, in Albany, it looks like it's going to clear out considerably. So that's pretty nice. Let's see what it's going to do to the temperatures. Not much, actually, but we can see about 93, 94. There's a pretty good consensus there for tomorrow for a high. But with clearer skies and likely a little bit drier conditions, temperatures are going to spike a little bit, climb up a little, about a degree or so. I think what's interesting and a certain reflection of the lack of humidity. So this is the actual hourly temperatures. Keep an eye on this dark blue. This is the 12Z GFS temperature forecast, and you can see it's near the top. So that's it's forecasting 96 degrees. But then if you look again at that same blue line, these are the apparent temperatures. So this takes into account humidity. This is the essentially the heat index, and because it's warmer because it's drier, and that means the apparent temperature or the heat index is actually going to be one of the cooler readings of all these forecast models, because the NAM and other models actually have more moisture remaining in the area because it doesn't have the boundary progressing through quite as quickly. I am inclined to believe that the front is going to move fairly quickly just because of current radar trends and how efficiently it's producing showers and thunderstorms. I don't think tomorrow is going to be as warm as perhaps some guidance suggests, so maybe that GFS output of 94 is as close as we're going to get, but I think maybe in the 93 range tomorrow. And then tomorrow, on Wednesday, as I said, I am inclined to believe the GFS and their drier forecast, which would also mean a warmer true temperature, but it's going to feel a lot better than if the humidity sticks around. So I would say maybe about 97 in Albany tomorrow, but a dew point in the 60s. So that's still hot, especially to a Minnesota boy like me. but it's going to be so much more comfortable to longtime residents in South Georgia. So it's going to do it for me. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow in Albany. Hotter but drier on Wednesday. I'm Victoria weather meteorologist Ryan Henning, and have a great week.